Hi everyone, my name is Becky and this is a hand knit letter, a show and tell of the stuff I've made and the stuff I want to make. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's talk about knitting. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is what I'm wearing. It is not very cold here today. It is, I think, like 55 or something like that. And so I just have on just like an underlayer type top. This is the Blue Sand top. I will put the name of the designer either on the screen or in the description box. It is just a tank top, garter stitch, simple little thing that I knit up out of Berroco Remix. And I think it's like in a denim color. I'll also put that in the description box too. I really do like this tank top. It's simple. I like how high the neck is. That's nice. But one thing I will say about it, it does have pretty deep underarms. So if I wear it, I generally wear it underneath something like this shirt, or I will wear a tank top under this. I'm not a fan of wearing tank tops under tank tops just because it's just so much layers. So I generally will wear this in the fall, winter, early spring as like a base under a button-up shirt or something like that. That's a lot of information about this top. Let's move on. So next up is stuff I've made. So in stuff I've made, I have the shift cowl. It is off the needles. It is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and I knit it out of some stash yarn. This is all Lion Brand, all acrylic. It is the mandala yarns, 2 skeins of 2 different color mandala yarns and 1 skein of a woolies, and I'll put those colors also in the description box. I do like it. I think it's really cute. Well, I think it's sort of cute. The colors are okay. I think they're fine, and they will be fine with what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to use it mostly for my outside activities, which is mostly what you use knitwear for. But like gardening, hiking, walking to get the mail, that type of thing. Campfires. It's just gonna be something I throw on and I don't worry about. One thing I don't think is cute is the beginning section of one of the skeins, because it went from being very warm to being very cool. So I don't really care for that, but you know, it's fine. It is a slip stitch mosaic pattern, and it is knit flat and then you seam it up, and I just used a whip stitch. I think I used a whip stitch to connect that. It is rolling quite a bit, even though I blocked it. The I-cord edging right here is rolling, and I did block it. I think I might need to steam it, but honestly, I probably won't because I'm not going to put a lot of effort into it. I'll try it on for you to see, so you can see what it looks like, and then you can decide whether you like it or hate it. But either way, I'm still going to wear it. Okay. All right. So here it is, the shift, and it's nice. I made it, and I'm happy I did. The second thing that I made is the other hand to my fingerless mitts from last episode. So now I've got a complete pair of boxing gloves. And I was joking with Leanne of the Knitty Stew. She also, when she puts on when she also puts on fingerless mitts, she feels like she wants to punch. And I was teasing her that we should join some kind of Gen X knitting gang where we put on our fingerless mitts and we say cringy things around Gen Zers like, that's rad, or totally tubular, something stupid. And then we punch in the air. Anyway, I knit the other one. These are just a simple fingerless mitt pattern that escaped my memory currently, but I'll also put that in the description box. These are made out of a discontinued merino yarn by Cloudborn Fibers. I think it's some kind of charcoal color. But there we go, 2 mitts. So now I have a half finished object. This is the Winglet Mitt by Sachiko Bergen, or Bergen. And it is, look at that, it's a moth. Check it out. So I made these for my daughter-in-law, Maddie, or I made this one. She needs another one because she's got 2 hands. And so instead of cutting off a hand, I will make her another one. I think that's the easiest route. I haven't woven any ends, but I think these are beautiful. I really, really like them, and I liked knitting this pattern. So there we go. That's what it looks like on. Aren't they cool? I just love them. I knit this out of Malabrigo Arroyo. I think that's their sport weight yarn. So whatever the sport weight is, I think it's Arroyo, and this is in the color Mostaza. So I still have 1 more to go. So this is basically a half finished object, but you get the drift. So that's what they'll look like. Very pretty. I knit them according to pattern. I use the size needles that were called for in the pattern. The pattern calls for fingering weight yarn. This is a sport weight, but I feel like it's a really thin sport weight, and so I feel like it leans more towards fingering. So the gauge wasn't different. So there you go. Winglet Mitts by Sachiko Bergen. So my next finished object. Get ready to squeal. This is a Vertices Unite shawl by Stephen West. So he put out a pattern to swatch for the Vertices Unite so that you could swatch it according to pattern and that you could see whether or not you liked what was going on. And so this is mine. And it is so cute. It is so little. Check that out. Check out how little it is. So I made this out of Birdie by the Lamb Kid, and I ordered some yarn from them, and they sent me a lovely present of some skeins of Birdie. And so I knit it out of, let's see here, these colors. Let me pull out my tag so I can show you. So the colors I knit, my little mini Vertices Unite, is this one is Antique. Then we have Curry. And Heirloom, which is my favorite. And Boot Cut. And my second favorite, Loam. So yeah, the girls over there gifted this to me, and I was super surprised. So this yarn it's just like I'm not even touching it. And when you knit it up, this thing feels like I'm holding a bird's feather. Maybe that's why they called it Birdie. It is so soft and so weightless, and I think it'll be perfect for my Vertices Unite shawl. I'm going to knit the first size. There's 2 sizes. There's like a small, medium, I think, and then the large. And most of the time I'm seeing the large made, which I think is very beautiful, but I want to wear it more like a scarf rather than a shawl, or like wrapped many times to turn the shawl into a scarf. I think I would enjoy that better, the smaller size. And I don't have a Barbie doll to model this on so that you could see what it would look like, but I do have Iron Man, so next best thing, right? So let's put this on Iron Man and see what Becky's gonna look like in her Vertices Unite. Let's see what you got. Look at that. That's exactly how I'm gonna look. So cute. So that took care of stuff I've made. Let's go into stuff I'm making. So in stuff I'm making, I have got I've got the Agave top by Yumiko Alexander on my needles currently. I am knitting this with Lindsey. Hey Lindsey, of Always Yarn First. It's a very loose knit along. We're knitting it, I think, until March 18th or March 19th, right before the first day of spring. And you're welcome to join us. Use the hashtag knitagave, and that way we can see what you're making. So I am making mine, which I've got the first, let's see, I've got the first lace pattern complete. This is the large lace section right here, and that's done. So I have a medium section and then the upper section left, and you knit the front and back separate, and you seam them together along the shoulders. I'm thinking maybe it's a 3 needle bind off. I don't know, we'll find out. And then you seam up the sides and cast on your sleeves. So there we go. And Lindsey is way far ahead of me. She, I think, has her entire, she has one panel fully done, and who knows where she's at by now. But I'll get there, I'll get there. I am knitting this out of Drops Bomull Lin, and I will put the color in the description box. It is a cotton linen blend, and it hurts my hands. So I can only do a little bit at a time, but I really enjoy this pattern. It's beautiful, and I think I'm gonna love wearing this yarn, especially after I wash it. So I think it's gonna be quite enjoyable to wear. So I'm not sad that I picked that out. I'm just a little sad when I have to stop knitting it because it's tough on the fingers. All right, so next up in stuff I'm making. So the next thing is a hat. I am making Jason's Cashmere Hat, and it is a free pattern on Ravelry, and I'm making this for my friend Jason. Quite fitting, right? It is not cashmere though. I do love Jason. I don't cashmere love Jason. I cashmere love Todd. I Berroco Vintage love Jason. So this is what this is made out of. Berroco Vintage in the color Cracked Pepper. For a budget yarn, I would say that this is an excellent choice, especially for gifts, because it's very soft and it feels good, it looks good. It's not scratchy by any means. I think that even if you, that's how you tell whether it's scratchy. You go like this. And anyway, it's not scratchy. Most people like the way this feels. I think it's perfect for gifts, because you don't have to treat it preciously, and you can wash it, probably dry it in the dryer, although I don't dry any of my knits in the dryer. But you probably could, because this is acrylic and wool, and I don't think anything will happen to it. And yeah, so I feel good about giving this as a gift to people, because I don't want them to feel, which I do give 100% wool things too, but I don't want people to feel like, I don't know what his level of commitment is in the care of this hat. And I don't want to assume that. It's like Phyllis from The Office when she's like, you can't wash it and you can't dry clean it. You have to hand wash it without water and then wring it gently and dry it with a cool iron. So I don't want to have to say that to people, like all this list of things that you have to do to care for a gift. So generally I pick something that's super wash or has acrylic in it or something like that, which I know that we won't have to be worried on how to care for it. Unless I know that they're in it. They're in it for the wool, and then I'll go that route with them. But yeah, so this is Jason's Cashmere Hat, and it's Jason's Cashmere Hat, and it is a lovely pattern. I would recommend this pattern for people who've never done cables before but want to do cables, because it is a very simple cable pattern. I think you can memorize the repeats very easily, and it's free. So you haven't spent a lot of money on a cable pattern that you're not sure whether or not you like cabling. So you can try this out, see if you like it. It's not hard to understand, and I think it would set you up for cabling success in the future. So that's my recommendation. So I've got this on pretty much, I mean, I'm getting close. It's still got a ways to go, probably about here. But yeah, and it's up fast because it's worsted and it's on size 8 needles. So win-win. Lastly, in stuff I'm making, I have my lambing mitt on the needles. I had sent Paige her skein of yarn and she received it, so I felt good about casting mine on. So I'm just barely into the thumb gusset increases, just barely. I think I've only done maybe two rounds of increases, but this is going super fast. I probably have knit, I think I did this, oh man, watching an episode of something. So maybe even 20 minutes into this mitt. So yeah, it's really beautiful. I like the way it feels. It is a very rustic yarn, the Peace Fleece. This is Peace Fleece worsted in the color Morning Dove. It feels good for your hands. I don't think I would put it on my face, which, I mean, I'm not gonna make a ski mask. I probably wouldn't wear a hat out of it, but maybe some people could enjoy wearing a hat. I'm kind of sensitive, like forehead and neck especially, but I love the Peace Fleece yarns because they are just beautiful. They have such pretty colors in them, and this one is not an exception to that either. So there you go. One mitt on the way of the lambing mitts. I had mentioned I had placed an order with the Lamb Kid, and I purchased a DK mini set of yarns. And I love I saw it on Instagram and I thought I need that. So I bought this because I want to make a simple raglan pullover, probably the dad sweater by Emily Curtis of Gently Chaotic Knits. And the reason why I want the colors is because I want to knit the sweater out of this color. And then on the cuffs and the hem and the neckline, I want to stripe these colors in the ribbing, just like a thin stripe of each one of these colors, maybe just one round, possibly two, but probably just one round, like one round of this to begin with, and then one round of each these colors, and then go back into a plain sweater. I think that will look really cool, and I want to do it just in the ribbing. So that's my plans for that. So that's some stuff I want to knit. Okay, so I have got some fun stuff to share. I had mentioned in one of my other podcasts how I love to buy most of my books used, and so I will go to used bookstores or check online at different used bookstores or eBay or things like that. But my local public library has a book sale that's continuously running in its second story, and it's really cool. So I go up there and I check what's on offer. I was looking around with my daughter-in-law Maddie, and we found a hilarious book. So we found a book called Needled to Death. And so when we saw this title, we laughed so hard. And check out the yarn. It's a skull. We were laughing so hard, and we're like, we have got to get this, especially because it is a book by Maggie Sefton, who is the author of Knit 1, Kill 2. So we thought that was so much fun. And because we love, like, one of our favorite things is to go on Amazon Prime or one of the streaming services and find the cheesiest movie to watch, and then just eat snacks and laugh the entire time. So this looked right up our alley. So we got this one, and so I had to find Knit 1 Kill 2 because you can't not find that one. So I found Knit 1 Kill 2 online on I think thriftbooks.com. And so this is the beginning of the series, Knit 1 Kill 2 by Maggie Sefton. And it just makes me so happy because I love mysteries, I love silliness, and I love knitting. So this is for me. And I just absolutely love it. And the fun part about this is each of the books, which I did a deep dive into her books, and each of her books include a delicious recipe and a knitting pattern. That's just awesome. So the delicious recipe, let's see here. The delicious recipe in Knit One Kill Two is Maggie's cinnamon rolls, and the pattern is Lamb Spun's Whodunit shell. And so it is basically just like, I don't want to give it away, just like a sleeveless top, but it's the Whodunit shell. Anyway, I love that so much. And I thought maybe that you all would like to hear about that too. If you also are a fan of silliness. But the titles are where it's at. The titles are the best. So we have Knit One Kill Two, and we have Needle to Death. And so I looked up a bunch of her other titles, and these are just some of my favorite. We have Skein of the Crime. We've got Cast On, Kill Off. We have Yarn Over Murder. We have Purl Up and Die. We have Dire Consequences, but it's like yarn dyer. And then we have Drop Dead Stitch. Anyway, these are just the best. It brings me so much joy. So I think that if Miss Maggie Sefton is still writing novels, I have an idea for a book. Not a story, just a title, because that's all I really care about. And it's SSK, Slip, Slip, Kill. What do you think? That would be fantastic. But I would like to have 10% of whatever, because, you know, yarn's expensive. Anyway, I like to imagine how this whole process went with Maggie. Like, she wrote this book and she took it to, let's see, who'd she take it to? To Berkeley, the Berkeley Publishing Company. She took it there and she's like, this is my book and I want you to publish it. The Berkeley Publishing Group. And she's like, I want you to publish it. And they're like, well, you know, it's okay, but is there anything else you can include in the book besides the mystery? And she's like, well, let me ask my focus group, which is basically like her knitting circle. And so I like to imagine how this discussion went in the knitting circle. She's like, okay, everybody, how am I going to get this book published? And Berkeley Publishing Group is wanting something more. And Patty raises her hand and she says, a free knitting pattern included in every book. And everyone's like, yes. And Darlene raises her hand, a recipe. And then Sue's like, a delicious recipe. And Darlene's like, thank you, Sue. A delicious recipe, a knitting pattern, and the whole group will buy a copy and we'll tell all of our friends on Ravelry too. That's exactly how this came about in my mind. But it's fantastic. I love it so much. And Maddie and I were talking and we're like, we have got to read this book, knit the pattern, and make the recipe. And if that's something that some of you would enjoy doing, if you would like to be involved in this silliness, let me know and maybe we'll do it together. So I went back to my local library to the book sale yesterday, and I thought, if I could only be so lucky to find Yarn Over Murder or something like that. I found a book called Death by Cashmere. And it's by Sally Goldenbaum. And she writes a seaside knitter's mystery. And she also includes a free knitting pattern, but not delicious recipe. So Sally, you need to step up your game. Her free pattern is Nell's Sea Silk Scarf. So it looks like a scarf with a shell pattern in it. So this is gonna be amazing too. And I cannot wait. So the first podcast I'm gonna mention is Hannah G Knits. And she has a sweet personality and she makes very wearable items. I like the colors she uses. And she's also a pattern designer. I think mostly of children's patterns, but I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. But I think you would like to watch her. And the other one I was going to mention was Leslie Friend of A Friend to Knit With. I realize most of you guys know about Leslie, but if some of you don't, then here's Leslie. All of Leslie's knits I think are very classy. I've learned quite a few things from her, and she has a couple patterns too. I know she has a hot water bottle pattern cover, not a pattern to knit a hot water bottle, but a pattern to put a cover over it. And I'm hoping to make that sometime soon with some of my stash yarns, maybe some scraps and things like that. I think that would be really nice. I use a hot water bottle a lot, and so I think that would be nice to have. Anyway, so go check out A Friend to Knit with Leslie Friend and Hannah of Hannah G Knits. Okay, so I think that's all I have to show and all I have to tell. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you well, and until next time, happy knitting.